Hey RCT, welcome back. We're going to go through a quick video, hopefully very quick. Sorry if the audio is pretty bad. I am using the phone audio directly. I don't have the microphone, so please apologize if the audio is terrible. So this video is about being able to compare the XTS5000 and XTS3000. Like I said before, I put out these videos because in the past I get curious and I Google or YouTube a question that I have, and for the most part I can never really find it online. So hopefully you have the same curiosity, if not now, in the future, or someone else will, that help them be able to at least find the knowledge or insight on the radios or the information they're looking for. This one's specifically talking about how to identify each of these radios in a movie. I've noticed that a lot of movies and TV shows have been starting to use these type of radios in their scenes, their movies, specifically when there is cops or police or SWAT involved. There was this one police show, I really don't remember what the name of it is. I believe they're using one of these two radios. I mean, for the most part, they showed the back of it. Typically, they take off the sticker here that says Motorola. Rarely will you see the radios from the front. Again, I think it's because maybe the design or it says Motorola here and they don't want to rip that off. And sometimes these are rented by the TV shows or the movies, so sometimes they don't want to go through the radios and alter them for the most part. So another movie I can tell you that I've seen, I believe it's the 5000, is one of the Batman movies. I don't know if I'm allowed to put a clip or snippet, a screenshot of it in here. I'll have to find out for a future video. I think there is some sort of stipulation that says as long as I'm not using it for monetary reasons, I probably could. My videos are not monetized. I don't think I have the allotted subscribers just yet to be able to do that. So I'm not really so worried about being copyrighted. So, but yeah, so Batman, I forgot which movie it was, one of the Dark Knight Rises, or one of the ones where Commissioner, I don't know his title, Gordon is running around trying to catch Batman or one of the other supervillains, and he has a radio up to his face yelling into it, and I think you can either see this side here, the back, or this side. And I can tell it's a XTS series because of the PTT button here. You'll see that the XTS3000 and 5000 specifically have a PTT that's a little bit more oval, oblong, I guess would be more oval if anything. Most of the radios are kind of a flat. I should have probably grabbed a few other radios. The XPX series, they kind of look like this. The older, there's another XTS. Let's see if I can reach this one without bumping you. So this is an XTS2500 and it has a smaller PTT here. So you generally won't see these in the movies. I specifically have seen more of these two. And I think the reason is because the XTS3000 is about 25 years old. I remember using this radio for a police department literally in 2000. So that was literally 25 years ago. So, and then these, so let me go back. So these are older, these are a little younger or not as old as these, but the XTS2500 is actually newer than the XTS5000 from what I remember reading. So that's generally why you'll still see these kind of floating around, especially 7,800 megahertz. When they use these in the movies, they don't talk on them, so they're not really designed to hear each other, talk to each other. All they're doing is acting in the one scene, the cop or whoever the detective is pretending to talk into them, and then they'll pan to the next scene and the other person's receiving the audio. And for the most part, you hear it just analog. You hear some sort of a squelch, a little at the end. That kind of tells you that whoever's using the radio, whoever's trying to mimic the radio, doesn't understand that these are P25, meaning digital. So they sound very, I don't want to say robotic, but it's a digital audio that you'll hear. So, you know, if you ever watch Cops, you can kind of hear what the police radio sounds like. Not really so much the analog version, but the digital version. That's what these specifically were made for. The XTS series its main design was created for P25. So let's go to compare how to identify these two radios in a movie, and there's a couple ways to kind of determine if obviously the movie is not moving fast enough, or if you stop, pause, rewind, and go back, you'll be able to tell a few different designs or cosmetic designs between the two XTS series right here. The first one I can tell you is, like I said before, they're never really going to show the front of it. I think it's because the radio is never going to be on, and if it is on, I can't even really tell you what it might be on. It might say channel 1, which is typically the unprogrammed or deprogrammed setting where it's just one frequency, one channel. It says channel 1, and that's all you can really do. You can't really push buttons. You can't really do any sort of features. So I think they try to stay away from showing the front because they don't want to show the channel or if it's being used or keying up. One thing I can tell you to kind of look out for that, you'll never be able to tell anyways because it depends on how they're holding it, is there's a light up here that typically turns on when they're talking. So you can see that right there, right? So that really shows you if someone is actually talking on the radio. If they're receiving, I'm not too sure if I think it turns green or it turns red. Green is something else, and I think red is receiving or transmitting. I don't know, let's see. I don't know about this one. And again, so the XTS2500 has a feature where you can use the talk permit tone, meaning it does a little triple or how many chirps it does. Oops. So that is it's called a talk permit tone, TPT, I think is what they call it. That tone is specifically made for when the radio picks up trunking. If the radio is set up with trunking using a specific repeater, that noise kind of indicates that the radio is ready to use. It picked up a frequency, it selected a frequency, and you're ready to talk. Sometimes there might be delays. That's because the radio is trying to figure out the right frequency. So that's sometimes why you might get the buzz. You might get that. And that just means the radio is either being used or the repeater is occupied trying to find a frequency. But again, rarely will you ever hear any of these tones. See, again, you can see how that one lights up red right there. So if they're talking in the movie, you can obviously see if they ever push the button here, you'll see the little red light, and then you can actively see them pushing it. I mean, look at my thumb, you can see that force going into it. So a lot of times you can see in the movies they're like this and they're talking into the radio. They're not even pressing the button, or they're like this. And there's a bunch of different ways they fake it. If you're a real radio user, you can kind of tell if they're using the radio or not. Specifically when two people are talking and the last person's done talking, immediately the person starts talking into it, or they're talking over each other. That's not how a two-way radio typically works. One person has to be done talking on the radio before the other starts talking. Otherwise you'll get not that one, you'll get the busy noise, right? So if I'm talking and you try to key up, that person's going to get the busy tone. So again, just to kind of help you understand if they're really using the radio, most times they're not using it. They're just for show. They're just for acting. So, all right. So to the real reason for this video is for you to be able to determine based on the sides or the back what type of radio they're using. So as you can see here, I hope this is in the shot. As you can see here, there's not much difference. I'm sure you can see this, right? There's not much difference on the back area here. The channel knob, the volume button here is pretty much the same channel volume. This is your concentric switch right here. It lets you do a few different features, encryption off, encryption on, whatever the case is. Every button that's on this radio here except the PTT and these two are typically programmed for different features or options. No radio is the same as the other radio. Every department has them programmed differently. One department might want this button to be direct and indirect. Another department might want scan or whatever the case is. All these radios have a lot of different features, so every department and every radio pickup is going to work completely different other than the PTT. I've never seen the PTT or the push to talk button used for anything else other than to talk. Volume of course is going to stay the same. Channel is going to stay the same. Typically the emergency button here can be programmed to be used for something different. Now I want you to kind of look at the top right here. You can see that the XTS3000, there's going to be a little bit more gap here than on the 5000. So right here and right here you can see there's a bit of a difference. Not too much, but if you're paying attention enough, you'll be able to see that there's a little bit of a difference in the gap. Okay, your toggle ABC is going to be the same typically. Again, there's concentric. If you look at that, they look the same here. That's the button right here. That looks the same. Even where the channel is supposed to be, typically that's going to stay the same. Okay. Now where you can tell if it's different is going to be the side right here. So if you take a look at the XTS3000, you can kind of see that the speaker here kind of bubbles out a little bit more, right? So if they're talking into the radio, they're holding it like this to their face, you'll see that there's a little bit more of a bubble for the speaker compared to the XTS5000, right? So this is the XTS5000. You can see that the speaker bubbles a little bit, but not as much as the 3000. I hope you can see that somewhere. Right. Okay. So you can kind of see this one sticks out a little bit more. This one's a little bit flat, a little bit more, I'm not sure, like smooth, versus this kind of has a bigger dip right here. Okay. Now you won't be able to tell too much from this side. This side is going to be very, very similar. So what they did is the XTS3000 kind of got washed out. I think there were some issues with the 3000 series that a lot of public agencies reported to Motorola. They tried to recreate them because I can tell you, I remember reading the story that 9/11 the New York Fire Department, or what do they call them, the Fire Department of New York, and New York PD blamed Motorola because with the XTS3000, some people that were nearby each other, meaning if there's someone outside the building and someone inside the building, they couldn't hear each other, while someone on the other side of the city was able to hear them. And I can tell you that I've experienced a few times that it does happen, not very often, but I'll be talking to someone, and when they talk to me, I can see the red light blinking, but I can't hear them. Not until I talk and then they talk back to me, I can hear it. So there's something with the programming that I'm not too sure if it's got to give permission, get permission, I recognize a frequency. I don't know what it was that they had an issue with, but at some point they scrubbed these out and they went with the XTS5000. So they pretty much redid the formula, the P25 formula, to be with these. Now the XTS3500 did come out. Some people say that the XTS3500 came out in place of the 3000 because of the issues. I have not been able to find an XTS3500. I've also heard stories that XTS3500 is pretty much a custom radio for certain departments. So if you wanted a custom radio for whatever range or frequency or features, they made the same radio, but then they named it XTS3500. Until this day, I have not been able to find one. If I do, I gladly snatch one because I'll just add it to the collection. So now to talk about this side. This is the side that you will most likely be able to identify the radio if it's an XTS3000 or 5000. Now there's some more obvious cosmetics that you can see based on just looking at these two right now. You can see the one on the left here. Look at the purple button. That is a little bit more round. You can kind of see shiny and round, while this one's going to be flat, and it's going to be like flat matte, right? So like flat matted, is that what you call it? So not so shiny, so it's going to be like a flat color. Plus the button is kind of flat. So if you look at this one, pay attention right here, you can kind of see how it kind of curves and it's shiny, right? Right there. Curves and shiny. Now look at that 3000. It's very flat and not so shiny. Okay. Now you've also probably noticed that these two buttons here, again, these are all customized buttons, so I can't really tell you what these are, but my radio is scan here and then monitor for this one. But these are gray. These are obviously a lighter gray. These are black. I don't think these are like a specific gray. I don't think they're a specific black. I think they're just the same color black as the housing. So you can kind of see the difference. Okay. Another thing you can kind of tell, again, if you're paying attention, not something that you want to, again, if you're not going to be able to identify it in the movie, because in the movie they're moving the radio around very quickly, or they're showing the scene very quickly with the detective or police talking into them. So they're not going to spend a lot of time using the radio in the scene. It's going to be very quick and move on. But you can kind of see here that this is a little bit more flat, so not so pointy compared to this one here. You can see here it kind of points a little bit more compared to this one. This one kind of comes out and goes down immediately. This one kind of comes out and curves down and then back down here. I hope you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can get a point. So point here. Okay. So here it goes up and down, right? This one just kind of goes up and then it immediately comes down, while this one kind of curves a little bit more. Again, that's going to be something that you're rarely going to be able to see, along with this little hole here. I've noticed XTS3000s have these little holes here, compared to the 5000s don't have that. Okay, so that might be another indication of what type of radio they're using. And again, look at the volume knob, the channel knob, the ABC toggle. It's very, very similar. Even the PTT is very similar, and the batteries are the same. The batteries that you use for the XTS3000 are the same ones for the 5000. Now sometimes they do block the Motorola sign out here because they don't, I guess movies and shows don't want to do free advertisements. So I think what they do is they have a battery that's flat and doesn't have the logo, and most times either black this out or they take this off. You can kind of tell in some movies. Let me grab something. Give me 1 second. All right, this is also something that you'll see in the movies if they're using the right type of gear. This is a speaker mic, or it's an RSM remote speaker mic, and it easily attaches right to the side here. Okay, and you can just start using it this way. Right, so you'll see also in the movies sometimes, if you pay attention to this style specifically, you'll see that they either black this out with like black tape, or they just take the sticker off. You can easily take this off, and you can buy these online very, very easily. So it's not very hard to manipulate the stickers here or here and black it out, if anything. So, and again, I think it's because they don't want to advertise for free. Obviously, every movie and show wants to get paid. I know I've read something before where there's always some sort of advertisement in there, whether they're advertising cars or drinks. If you see logos anywhere in the movie, Coke, or you'll see the Chevy logo, Ford logo, that's obviously some sort of advertisement. So that's how you can tell. But for the most part, I've never seen anybody advertise radios. Now let me grab a Baofeng, because I have seen Baofengs. So let me grab one really quick so I can show you. All right, so this is going to be a Baofeng. This is a Btech. This Btech is the same as a Baofeng, but in movies I have seen them use these, and I laugh because it's really corny and cheesy for them to try to use a Baofeng in a movie. I even saw what movie was it where they used a Baofeng. It didn't have the clip, but you can tell it's a Baofeng. You can kind of tell because this thing is like diamond shaped. I'm not sure what shape that is, but you can tell from this. But it didn't have the antenna, and they're talking into it. I mean, they obviously faced the front away from it. Like I told you, they'll never show the front of it. And sometimes they do because they'll take the sticker off. But this is how you can tell this is a Baofeng. It has the orange button here, the blue, the band, and then the little buttons here. So this is an older Baofeng, but it generally comes with a longer antenna. It's a little longer here. It's a VHF UHF antenna. I grabbed this one, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like. But I've seen movies where the detective or the cop has this clipped on the side of their belt, and I cringe because why would you buy Baofengs and put this on your detective and say, all right, go be a cop or go be a detective, and you expect the guy to pull this out and talk on the radio? I mean, I've never seen a police department use a radio with just a channel knob. It's always been with a volume knob. So this is only a volume knob. So typically you'll see a police radio, public safety radio with a volume knob and a channel knob. Always. You'll always see it like that, right? Always. Because you're not really going to typically see, or in an agency, you're typically not going to use just one channel. Changing channels is very necessary in the field. And the reason why I say this because most agencies have specific channels for certain reasons. If you have your main channel, typically some counties use color coding. I'm very big on color coding. As you can see here, green 1 typically means like your main channel. Green 2 is your secondary main channel. Sometimes you separate those by patrols or beats, or sometimes it's used for private events, special events, parades. So they're both monitored by dispatchers, but you typically have your 1 or 2 main channels, which is green 1, green 2, blue 1, blue 2. And then you're going to have your TAs, which is your talk arounds, which means that if you're assigned to green 1 and you need to talk to someone kind of not related to an emergency and you don't want to tie up the dispatcher radio, you'll just tell someone, hey, can you copy on green 1 TA? And then you swap over to green 1 TA and you have whatever conversation that, again, doesn't always relate to a police incident. Or sometimes you may swap to a channel that's a TAC channel. Some counties call it TAN. TAN is the same as their TAC channels. And if you're going to be at a scene and an incident and you don't want to tie up the main frequency, the main channel, you'll go over to TAN 5, right? And then your channel 5 would be your kind of talk about whatever it is. And dispatchers might assign you to a channel. Here in Phoenix, they assign you to specific mutual aid channels if you're going to specific scenes with different agencies. So before I go off too much topic, that's all there really is to this. I kind of, again, just wanted to show you how to be able to determine the difference on these two radios, at least by looking at the housing. This is called the housing. Don't rely on the battery being this style. This is an original style, and it has a little Motorola back here, and you can kind of see looks like the cell batteries back here. But typically it just looks like this. That's all it really is. And this is a radio. I think that was pretty cool when we started using these back in 2000. All right. So that's all there is. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Let me know if you have any other ways to determine. Astral just means it's a digital P25 radio. Oh, I got a little scuff here. Most times they will have those little Astros at the bottom, meaning it's approved or legitimate. That's its badge, I guess, that it earned for being P25. All right, that's all I have. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns, or if you know any other movies that you've seen these on. Same thing with the Baofengs. I hope they don't use Baofengs anymore. I've seen them use even PXTON radios. Hold on, let me get it. All right, yes. So I've seen them use these PXTON radios. It's actually a Baofeng. Baofeng and PXTON are the same thing. Same radios, not same company, but same radios. These are called 888S. Baofeng and PXTON name them the same thing. But so corny, so cheesy. I don't take the movie serious. Once I do see these two radios being used, I can't expect to take the movie serious or that cop or detective serious when they make them pull this out and start using this. I mean, come on, it doesn't look like a police radio, so don't try to fool us with that, right? Hollywood or Bollywood, whatever, stop using these. We're not falling for it if it's one of these toy radios. Sure, if you rent one of these, and you can easily buy these XTS3000 and 5000s online very easily, just for show, just for mimicking police chatter. Even the 7800 megahertz, they sell these 7800 megahertz. You can buy them easily, just slap an antenna, a battery, and that's it. You don't have to turn on the radio, you don't have to talk into it. Again, most movies or episodes don't even use the audio or really talk into them. So you know, again, you don't really need to have a full functional working XTS5000 or 3000. Will it be better? Absolutely. I think it'd be pretty cool if you're shooting a movie or a episode and you actually do use the audio and show the screen and see the key up. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I would give that movie a lot more respect if they actually did that, because you're taking the time to be a little bit more legit versus these little toys that, you know, you see on the movies and commercials and episodes. So again, Hollywood, stay away from these, please. Stop. We're not falling for it, and this is just so corny. Again, I know sometimes there's budget, but again, you can pick these up fairly easy online, $100, 150, 200 without programming, sometimes even cheaper. Or piece it together, buy just a radio. Sometimes they'll sell it for 100, buy the battery, antenna, and you'll have yourself a set. But stay away from these. I would appreciate that. All right, that's all I have. Let me grab a radio and then we'll do radio check over now. Semi. All right, so I'm gonna show you the difference in the audio, the analog with MTC, and then the Astro P25 audio. Like I said, this is how you're gonna be able to determine what type of audio they're using, if they are using it. If you're ever watching cops and you hear a bleep or you hear the digital audio, you'll be able to tell what type of radios, or at least what type of module that they're using. Or I'm not too sure how they call P25, but it's like a formula that they created to be a digital version. So but this is what it sounds like on the analog with the MDC. Check 1 2, check 1 2, radio check 1 2. Same thing the other way. Check 1 2, check 1 2, radio check 1 2. All right, let's go over to the digital. Okay. Check 1 2, check 1 2, radio check 1 2, 1 2 3 4 5. Check 1 2, radio check 1 2 3 4 5. All right, that's all I have, team. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm not too sure what we say nowadays, but feel free to follow, help me with the followings, subscriptions. Make sure to follow me over at Instagram, and we'll see you in the next video. Radio check over now.